People love to joke on social media that more monitors doesn't make you more money. And I get it. 7 screens probably does look quite ridiculous to the uninitiated until you actually understand what goes on across every single one. Look, this isn't just some tech flex. Monitors and machines are the tools of our trade, the core of our business. Just like a mechanic needs a precision wrench or an artist needs the right brush, if you're serious about trading for a living, your setup absolutely matters. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through my complete trading station. Every tool, every screen, and why it's laid out the way it is. From watching multiple markets and monitoring real-time order flow to live streaming breaking news, chatting with other professional traders, and managing lightning fast executions, each part of this desk has a purpose. And here's what might surprise you. Anything that doesn't serve this setup is gone. This station is optimized for clarity, precision, and speed. So whether you're building your own trading desk or just curious what a professional full-time trader and educator actually runs each day, I'm going to show you exactly how it all fits together. So let's break it down screen by screen and tool by tool. So let's get into it. Okay, let's talk about the trading station. So I run 6 monitors and a TV. All right, I have 4 monitors here to my left. I have a laptop and another large, wide, curved screen monitor in front of me here on an L-shaped desk. I have a TV, about a 40-inch flat screen above these 4 monitors. And I'm in a private room in my home. This is my private office. And it's pretty far removed from the rest of the activity of the house. So I can come here and have quiet and focus and not be disturbed. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the hardware of the station. All right, there are 2 main PCs that run these monitors. I have one tower that runs these 4 monitors you see to your left, and then I have a high-powered gaming laptop that runs the curved monitor, the large screen curved monitor here to my left, and then, of course, the laptop screen itself. Okay, it's important to know that both stations are hardwired to gig speed internet. All right, it is cable internet. It's quite fast. It's over 1 gig. I have looked into fiber. They do offer it in my neighborhood. I just have such a great plan with my cable company that includes a lot of what we use here. I just haven't made the switch yet, but it's on my radar. But hardwired only. And both stations are also connected to a battery backup. Okay, I do live in South Florida. We do have inclement weather here, especially in the summertime. We have hurricanes, we have thunderstorms. So if there are any power outages, which sometimes happens, the computers won't go off. Okay, they have a battery backup. If the power goes out, there's enough power in that battery to make sure everything stays on. Now the internet will go down. All right, but I can easily switch over to a redundancy line on my cell phone, where I can switch over to the Wi-Fi on my phone, or if need be, I could hop on my phone and close any positions that I'm currently in should the power go out. That's extremely important, guys. If you have any power issues or internet issues, that can cause a huge problem if you're in the middle of a trade. So take all the proper precautions, have your cell phone handy where you can log into your broker at the touch of a button and close any positions, and also have your trading stations on a redundancy and a battery backup, so I can actually continue trading if I wanted to. If there's a lot of opportunity, I can trade on my cell phone Wi-Fi and have the computer still running. Okay, so very fast internet, as fast as I can get on my cable company, looking to switch over to fiber. So let's talk about the hardware of this station here. That's what's up on the screen. This is not an incredibly powerful desktop. I mean, it's not weak either, but it does its purpose. I bought this several years ago. It's a precision workstation by Dell, 32 gigabytes of RAM, just under 3 gigahertz in CPU power, 2 gigabyte graphics card, which can easily run these 4 monitors. These monitors are essentially just to monitor market conditions. I don't execute on here. I don't do anything that requires a powerful PC on these monitors, simply to be able to watch multiple markets and see and hear about live breaking news. That's it. All right, so it doesn't require tremendous computing power. Um, and I will go over each of these monitors and what's on them here after I finish the hardware. This is the hardware specifications of my laptop. It's an Alienware laptop. It's quite powerful. This has a 12 gigabyte graphics card, 32 gigabytes of RAM, and a 3.3 processor. So this is very powerful. This does a lot of my video editing, processing. I do have a stand that the laptop sits in with coolers and air fans that keeps it nice and cool so it doesn't overheat. And then I have this large curved screen monitor to my left, and then the laptop screen, of course. Very clear. Like I said, it's a gaming laptop, so everything is quite crisp and powerful. So this is where I actually do my streaming and trade execution. All right, so it's super fast, hardwired into gig speed internet, and a very powerful PC. So I do all my streaming here and my execution, but I only have these two monitors. Okay, so I'll go over what I use these two monitors here for in a minute, but this is essentially the entire totality of the trading station with these four monitors on the desktop here and two monitors on a powerful gaming laptop here for streaming and execution. The TV up above the four monitors generally runs some type of trader TV or station that allows me to monitor what other traders are seeing in the markets I'm trading, like ES and Q. So I like to see what they're seeing up on that TV. All right. Let's talk about a little bit of the additional hardware I have. I have a Blue Yeti microphone for streaming. I have a Logitech high-def webcam, and then I also use a Stream Deck. Okay, Stream Deck, and I have other videos on this, but this is not just for streaming. I use this for trade execution. Okay, this allows me to get in and out of positions by the touch of a button. Now I have a whole video on this, so you can check that out, but I can add on the bid, market, close my positions, cancel all my orders. I can do everything at the touch of a button here. All the hotkeys are set up, and I can hold it in my lap, or I can use it right on the computer. It's attached by a wire, so it goes pretty far. I can sit back and trade like it's almost like a video game controller. It's very cool. 32 button Stream Deck. Okay, everything is hooked up to nice speakers. I have lighting. I have all this fun stuff. Okay, now let's go into what's on each monitor. Okay, I'm going to start with the four monitors to my left that I use for monitoring the markets. Okay, and I'm going to start with this screen right here to the bottom right. All right, this is where I monitor the US stock indexes. All right, so to the top left is the Dow, the top right is the NASDAQ, the bottom left is the Russell, and the bottom right is the S&P 500, the ES. On each of these charts, I have a session-anchored VWAP with 1 and 2 standard deviation bands, and I have a volume profile that begins at the market regular trading hours open. So for this, it's 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is NinjaTrader. It's very detailed. This is the best data I've been able to see in terms of volume profile. It's extremely detailed to the price level, so it's very powerful. I love it. I can really see the low volume nodes and high volume nodes really clearly. It gives me some initial balance lines. You can see these lines here, your value area high, value area low, and our point of control. Okay, so it's really important that I can see all four stock indexes, especially the NQ and ES at the same time. Many of you know who trade with me live will often see the same setup on ES and NQ, which gives confluence, or ES or NQ will set up before the other index does. So I will trade that index because of it. All right, they tend to flow and move together, so you can see some nuances of how these trade together. Sometimes Dow will trade completely differently and create some nice opportunities. You'll still see me trade the Dow. Same thing with the Russell. Okay, so I like to see them all four side by side in sync so I can see how the US equity markets are moving and moving together and at what levels they're at together. All right, we might see ES is above value area in price discovery, but we might see NQ is still in a balanced market. One might catch up to the other. Right? Or one might hold the other back. But if we won't know that unless we're watching all of them together and trading together in sync. Now the top right monitor, so this one right here, this I call my higher time frame monitor. All right, for whatever market I'm trading, whether it's NQ, ES, gold, no matter what it is, I like to see the higher time frames and what they're telling me. All right, I don't like everything thrown on one chart. I can see the setups and the information a lot better when they're separated. So in the bottom right, let's theoretically say we're trading NQ. The bottom right is just my initial balance levels. All right, where's the initial balance high, initial balance low, the open, all right, the midpoint, where's our extension points, where's last night's high, last night's low, yesterday's high, yesterday's low. All these levels are on this chart. Okay, this is a 5-minute chart. These are also equal volume candlesticks. So the fatter they are, the more volume, the thinner they are, the less volume. All right, so this kind of gives me an idea of how the volume is coming in or leaving the market. All right, also plays nicely with tick strike. If you guys aren't familiar with tick strike, I have other videos on that as well, and I'll get into that as we get a little deeper into this video. Top right, this is my hourly chart. All right, this is just the entire session volume profile on the hourly chart. This allows me to see previous days price action where a bulk of the trading has taken place. So I can see where price currently is relative to the entire session today, and also relative to the previous several days of price action. Are we below? Are we above value from yesterday? All right. Are we still in yesterday's value? All right. This gives me a lot of information of where price currently is relative to the previous day's price action and currently today's. All right. Helps me answer the question, are we in balance or imbalance on the higher time frame? Same thing with the bottom left. These are higher time frame VWAPs. All right. So this is a 30-minute chart where I have the weekly VWAP in green and I have the monthly VWAP in blue. All right, how they coincide and where price is relative to these higher time frame VWAPs, the longer term VWAPs. All right, if we're above all of them, that's very bullish. If we're below both of them, that's bearish. All right, are we above and below? We have a VWAP pinch. You can see how price went to the weekly, could not break above. Where did we go? To lower band on the month, and this happens all the time. All right, upper band on the week, weekly VWAP. All right, monthly VWAP, we held support, holding above all the bands, very bullish price behavior. This gives me a big indication on a higher time frame of where my bias should be and whether I should be looking long or short on that particular market. I usually reserve this top left for gold. Gold's almost always up here in this top right monitor on one of these charts, and this has the regular trading hours volume profile, which is 8:20 a.m. to Eastern Standard Time, as well as the initial balance, which is 8:20 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 9:20 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, so I have multiple levels on this chart. Allows me to see some solid price action on gold to see if there's any opportunities for us to grab there. All right, so I'm able to monitor gold, all of the U.S. indexes, and the higher time frames on these two monitors, guys. I have a lot of information on these two monitors. All right, really spreads it out so I can glance and study these and really derive some nice trade ideas. Okay, let's talk about this top left monitor. All right, this monitor next to this live sign right here. All right, this monitor allows me to watch other markets. All right, other markets I'm generally not trading or immediately trading, but gives me good insight to what's happening in the market. All right, top right, I have oil. All right, CL, crude oil. This has a VWAP with standard deviations and volume profile anchored to the open of oil, which is 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Top left is natural gas. Same thing, anchored to 9 a.m. That's the open of the energy markets, Eastern Standard Time, with one standard deviation and volume profile. Bottom right is going to be our yearly or our daily chart on NQ or ES. I'll move them around. All right, so I can see the real big picture. And this is a yearly VWAP. All right, this is real big picture on the US stock indexes. And bottom left is Bitcoin. All right, I'd like to keep an eye on what Bitcoin is doing. Gives me an idea of whether we're in risk on or risk off sentiment. I do trade a little bit of Bitcoin, not so much futures, but I do trade the ETFs, the leveraged ETFs. And again, this is volume profile and VWAP anchored to the open. Well, Bitcoin doesn't have an open, but it's anchored to that transition session, which is 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, so watching other markets up here to see what other markets are doing. And lastly, in the bottom left here, guys, I have Financial Juice. All right, I find this to be the best platform for breaking news in the financial markets. It has several portions here. To the left, you're going to find the important news drops of the day and the upcoming days. All right, so I can see all the important news at a quick glance that's coming today and coming up. It also gives me what the forecast and the actual and the previous readings are. All right, here is my news feed. This is personalized to the markets I watch, so mostly futures and stocks. All right, so this is all customized, and you'll see, highlighted red is really important breaking news. And if there is really breaking news, they'll sound a siren that allows me to know that there's some serious news breaking, and I should be really cautious. All right, the top right, I have the Squawk Box. So during market hours, they are streaming live. All right, they're reading breaking news out to me and anything that's happening that's important to the markets in real time. So I don't even have to look at the screen as I'm trading. They'll tell me what's happening. All right, they'll tell me if news is coming up in 15 minutes to be ready, watch my positions. They'll be talking about if Trump is talking. They'll be talking about what Trump is saying, what the market is doing in relation to Trump's words. And this is all in real time, guys. Very, very powerful platform. And there's a link in the description of this video that will help you sign up for this. I think anybody who's a professional trader should not be without Financial Juice. All right, it's imperative to the toolbox of the professional day trader. If you don't know what's going on in terms of news, Trump talking, news drops, or any of the world events, you are seriously trading blind and your positions are at serious risk. It's very novice and very unprofessional to not be tied into the news markets as a trader. Okay, now let's talk about the screens of my large curved monitor and then my laptop screen. So right now I'm on the curved monitor. This is where I do all of my drawing and marking up charts. Okay, so I don't touch any of this. This just stays up. I literally don't have to touch any of this. I do have my own keyboard and mouse over here for this, but literally during the trading day, I rarely ever touch it. It's just up there for me to watch. I can glance over and study and look at everything that's happening and just kind of sit back and really take in the information. All of my active charting is done on this monitor. It's also where I stream from. So if you're familiar with my streams, all right, you'll be able to, this is normally what I'm streaming because this is what I'm immediately watching and working on. Okay, so I'll have multiple different types of charts. Like this is a 5-minute on ES. All right, I can put different indicators on here that I like to use. I can mark up the chart with arrows and points that I'm watching at, important supply zones. I can point for the group, specific areas I'm watching, or setups. All right, so this allows me to mark the chart up. This is my single intraday chart, so I can see it real big. 5-minute candles, huge on this monitor. It's a big monitor. I want to say it's 27 inches. So it's quite large and curved. All right, so this is really what I'm honed in on. Okay, I have different tabs. If I want to be watching gold for the day, I have my gold layout with my initial balance for 8:20 a.m. All right, so I don't have to fiddle with that indicator. I can create another tab for the multi-time frame indexes so I can see all 4 of my quad charts. So I have my 5-minute, my hourly, my 30-minute, my daily, where I can mark out my levels. All right, again, I do all of my charting here. So I mark out my levels. I can create alerts. All right, and this is TradingView. Okay, this is not, I don't use TradingView for execution. I find it quite slow for execution, but it's great for charting and marking up my charts and alerts. Okay, that's what I essentially use this for. So on stream, you'll see me navigating through this, marking up my charts, bouncing among different charts. All right, so I can quickly access the information that I'm currently charting and trading and setting up alerts for. Okay. And that's a majority of what I do on my large monitor, which I'm pretty much facing. I have my Stream Deck for trading. And then right here, my laptop right here is where I'm running the stream software from. And then I'm also talking on Discord. So I'll have my Discord screen up on here. That's how I can communicate with everybody in my group and other professional traders and what we're watching, right? So I can see everything that, you know, the different prop firms are doing. I can be in our group and I could be in our live trading stream, right, which is right here. I can be communicating here. So I'm watching this. I have all my text. And that's essentially what I'm doing on this laptop over here, along with execution. So on my laptop, this is my execution screen. Okay, this is where I'm watching the DOM and the chart, and this is where I take all of my executions. It's my fastest computer. All right, I have my Stream Deck set up to it for executing, and this is where I'll take my executions. So if I'm executing on top one futures, for example, this chart is up and I'm in and out of my trades. Now you guys can't see it because it's on the laptop and I'm focusing on my marked up charts. All right. It's kind of hard for me to have both on the screen at the same time. All right. So when I'm in a position, I'll kind of drag it back and forth so you can see the position I'm taking. And very similarly, if I'm trading my cash account, that's Trade-Evade. So I have a brokerage account with Trade-Evade. This will be the software I'll have up on my laptop, the DOM, the chart, some cumulative delta. All right, you guys know if you watch my other videos, I love the cumulative delta on Trade-Evade. I think it's a wonderful indicator. And that's it, right? So execution on this screen and Discord chat, live charting, marking up my charts, navigating different charts, doing research on my charting, monitoring all of the different markets and higher time frames and all of the stock indexes, the breaking news on that screen. Right? So everything is used, guys. Everything is really powerful. Everything has a purpose. It would be really hard to watch all this very easily with one or two monitors, or especially if I'm trading on my phone. And lastly, one other thing I'll have up on my screen next to my chart is tick strike. This is audible tick volume coming out of these markets. So ES, the S&P 500, the NQ, the VIX, which is the volatility index, and then the tick, how many stocks are going up versus going down in the S&P 500. Okay, this will let me know whether there is buying or selling pressure in the sound of volume and actual ticking noise. All right, this allows me to view my monitors or do some other work or chat in the Discord, and I can hear if action is picking up. I don't have to watch the chart tick by tick all the time. Audibly, it will let me know what's happening. In fact, there are times I'll leave the office and maybe I'm making myself something to eat or making a shake or something downstairs. I can hear if something's happening in the market. I can almost tell you whether we're going up, down, chopping, what's happening without even seeing the charts based on the audible volume at a tick strike. I've listened to this thing for so long. I can almost tell you what's happening. I could tell you if we're ripping, we're tanking, all of that stuff just by sound. It's super powerful and I absolutely love it for my trading. I wouldn't trade without it at this point. I find it such a valuable tool. So that's the full breakdown, guys. 7 monitors, but every single one has a job. This isn't about looking cool. It's about clarity, speed, and staying in sync with the markets at all times. So if you're serious about trading, whether you're scalping futures like I do, building out a swing setup, or just getting started, your environment matters. It should support your process, not distract from it. And look, you don't need all of this on day one. I didn't start with 7 monitors. I started with 1 laptop and a fire to figure it out. But as your edge sharpens, your gear should evolve to match it. If you found this helpful, I break down my full VWAP Wave trading system, including live setups, playbook entries, and trade reviews inside my free Drysdale Trading Group Discord. Grab my free VWAP Wave Core Setup Guide. You'll find a link in the description of this video, and come trade with us. Whether you're scaling up or just getting consistent, we've built a serious community around this. So drop a comment below if you have any questions about the setup, or if you want me to do a deeper dive on any of these specific tools. Be sure to watch my other videos, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and join us in the free Discord. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.